Hey there friends, Stephen Petaski here, founder of the Luxus Group, and I wasn't planning on shooting a video today, but I just finished a pretty intense 7-day business trip. There was 7 different cities I touched down in, 7 flights, 4 cities with business meetings. I had 2 flight cancellations, 1 rerouting, and I'm getting near the end of the business trip. I'm here on the Big Island of Hawaii. It just felt compelled to share my experience. And the idea of this is actually giving tips on traveling during a pandemic. So I've just experienced a lot of different things in 7 days, and I'll use this as an opportunity to share with you what I've learned about traveling during this time, how to make it easier for you, more seamless, and to get through what is a pretty difficult time in travel, but it can be smooth if handled correctly. Now, before I get going, I want to apologize for the sunglasses. It's unintended. I'm not trying to be maverick here or something like that, but it's so bright I can't keep my eyes open this way. And ignore the odd airplane behind me. Here comes one right now. So you can see I'm actually close to the airport. I literally left the airport, turned right, hopped on the beach, set up the camera, and going to give you this intel. So this is not about real estate, more specifically about moving around the world in a time that is very complicated to move around the world in light of everything going on with COVID-19 and this pandemic. Now, as always, if it's your first time to this show, welcome. Hopefully this is a conduit into looking at some of the additional content we put out there related to buying and selling vacation real estate. And if you're a recurring guest, thank you again for being here. I hope you find today's show valuable and kind of authentic and in the moment, because it's as true to timing as I could deliver. Okay, so lesson number 1 that I've learned, no matter what, you want to be safe. COVID-19 is real, but it can be frustrating with all the different rules and restrictions and vaccinated or not, or masking. But when you are on an airplane, you have a responsibility to follow those guidelines in the sense of wearing a mask and being safe to those around you. It's particularly important to me because whether you believe in it or not, if you do get sick or COVID-19, you could get stuck at your destination, not have a chance to get back to your home country. So always, especially when I'm on these more intensive business trips or even for a personal trip, I don't want to get stuck somewhere. I'm on a tight schedule in life, as we all are. So doing your best to prevent the spread if you have it, or prevent yourself from getting it, is obviously very, very important. Wearing a mask, wear a couple masks during that time, as annoying as it may be on the airplane, do it. I promise you, I've had a lot of people that have maybe taken liberties with it, and then will get sick and get stuck in a country for 14 days before they can turn back to their home country. And that becomes a total pain and can throw a wrench in your entire life plans. So first thing, be safe, be responsible, and the flight attendants and pilots have a job to do. Let's try to make it easy on them. It's so important we keep these people in the industry. It's been such a hard time on airlines over the past couple of years during COVID. They are not the ones that decided to make this a policy, but they do have to enforce it. So I like to give them lots of space and empathy and just follow the rules when we're on the airplane in order to make sure I get to my destination safely and I don't get in a situation where I could potentially get sick and thereby strand myself in a destination where I don't want to be necessarily for 10 to 14 days. Number 2, really encourage people to book with a travel agent. Now, what does that mean? Now, back in the old days, we all used to book with travel agents, and we used to get paper tickets mailed to us in the mail, and it was this like big process. But as the internet got better and airlines got better, direct bookings became the primary way of doing things because it was just easy. And if you got in a bit of trouble in the sense that, let's say a flight got canceled, you could get a hold of someone on the other end and they would redirect you onto a new flight. It was kind of like not a big deal. Well, now it's different. First off, booking tickets in itself is challenging, constantly changing, evolving rates. You want to get the best deal for your family. Second, knowing the travel restrictions in your particular area, vaccination required or not, testing required or not, testing upon return or not, what different things allow you to enter that country so you can move around freely to go to restaurants and go to bars and go to museums or whatever it may be. So what I love about booking with a travel agent during this time is a couple elements. First off, I get the latest and greatest information on what is happening in that particular destination related to COVID and the restrictions required. Clearly, with the amount of travel I do, I don't mind restrictions. I don't mind navigating the paperwork and the extra steps that go along with it. But what I do want to know what to expect. If you don't know what to expect, it just causes confusion, causes frustration. And you realize that you can't go to a restaurant without having a test in hand, or you can't go to a concert with having something. So I really encourage you to use a travel agent because it really makes it easier for you to know what to expect when you get to a destination. And then second, very, very important, If you travel enough, more often than not, in today's world, you're going to have flight interruptions or cancellations. There's situations related to flight cancellations, delays, significant delays, result in you missing connections. I've had so many of these just in the last 7 days. I had 3 separate incidences that I had to go to the help desk to get resorted out because of changes. And again, it's because so many people left the industry. It's very difficult now to get staffing and staffing rotations for pilots and flight attendants. And so expect you're going to run into a situation where you have a flight canceled. If you have a travel agent, they have your back to help you find alternative solutions. The other way to look at it is you can go wait in line on the help desks, and those sometimes, I saw one on the weekend, showed up there and my whole flight was canceled. So there's 160 people in line. So complicated. I went online to try to make the changes myself, realized I booked with the travel agent, gave them a call. They go through the back end of the system, grabbed me a seat on the next morning's flight, and I was able to avoid the probably 2 or 3 hour wait in the help desk line at the airport, go to a hotel for $100, spend the night, and caught the first morning flight. Everyone else was probably rebooking the seats, and I guarantee you many of those people did not get out for a day or two later simply because of the lack of options that exist currently due to how difficult it is for airlines right now in booking flights and maintaining consistent schedules. So to wrap that, clearly I'm passionate about this. Book with a travel agent. They are there to help you. They will make your life easier as it comes to booking your travel, and more importantly, helping you navigate once something goes wrong, because believe me, over the next couple of years till things return to normal, it's going to be a tricky situation traveling, and you want qualified professional help to get you through it. Okay, number 3, known traveler system. So that's getting your TSA pre-check through, if you're in Canada, it's Nexus. If you're from other countries, entering the United States is Global Entry. There's another expedited thing through security called Clear. All of these play a role in making your life easier at the airport. For me, I have them all. So no matter what country I'm going through North America, I can expedite the security line, I can expedite the customs line, and I promise you, I can't count how many times this has helped me catch a flight on a tight connection. Again, as I mentioned before, flights are delayed, there's issues happening, so maybe a 2-hour layover used to seem like a lot of time to catch your connecting flight. Now you realize that a flight's 90 minutes late and you got 30 minutes to hightail it. Well, if I can avoid security, especially if I have to connect to a different airline, if I can zip through customs and catch my airline connecting to Mexico or Canada or Europe, or wherever it may be, huge help. They make sure you fit the particular criteria for that expedited travel, security, and customs clearance. But for me, absolute huge help. Many of you probably have it. Make sure you have the reciprocal one with reciprocal countries where you can add it just to make it easier when you're coming and going from that particular country. Canada and US, for example, have a great system that allow reciprocal use. Absolutely game changer, and I've caught so many flights as a result of that when things got very tight on time. So number 3, as I mentioned, just focus on trying to find your ideal setup when it comes to expediting clearance through security and through customs. Promise it will help. Number 4, food and beverage. Doesn't seem like a big deal, and if you haven't traveled in a while, you may not know what I'm talking about. If you have traveled in a while, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. F&B on airplanes is bad right now. I feel bad for the airlines. Again, they are short-staffed. They don't have the tools at their disposal to give you proper food and beverage options. In addition, in the airports, due to COVID restrictions, a lot of times restaurants are closed down when you expect them to be open, and the ones that are open can have lineups for an hour or two. So you may think, I have an hour layover, I'll stop and get a beer and a drink and a nice salad somewhere. It's not as easy as it used to be. There's lots of good health food spots in the airports now. Grab and go salad, grab and go sandwich, couple drinks, because I actually don't expect, if it's sitting in economy, to actually get service. And not that it's in a bad way, but outside of water, you might get turbulence, they may be short-staffed, you may not get anything but maybe a soda and a water. So I like having those options to ensure I'm not totally famished on the other end, and it makes the experience enjoyable. Again, the whole idea is we want people to travel more to get this world moving again, but if it's frustrating and uncomfortable, we're not going to do it. This is just one more way to make it a bit more comfortable. Okay, another tip that served me very, very well is traveling carry-on when possible. I know it's not possible in all situations, and I know it's easier for men than women for traveling very light and a very small suitcase. But again, I can't count the number of times I have allowed myself to navigate through a flight cancellation or a change or a misconnection because I had my bags with me. As soon as they're gone underneath the airplane, you lose control of getting to your destination quicker, because often airlines don't want to separate you from your bags. With that, if you have the ability to do so, get a really good travel sized carry-on, something you can fit the maximum amount of stuff in. You may have to spend a bit of money on it, but it'll be worth it, I promise. I've had the same carry-on for 6 years now, and I probably have another 6 years of life on it, but it's super tactical. It solves all my issues with packing in one specific spot and makes my life a lot easier when traveling. Now, like I said, easier for me to say and for a guy to say than a woman that has a lot of beauty products and cosmetics to have to go with. And I totally understand. My wife was a journalist. She has stuff that she needs to pack in order to be comfortable and set up on her particular vacations or business trip. For women, it's very hard, but my wife's done a great example. My mother and so many of our clients, I have to admit, they've kind of set the standard. They've spent money and time building to fit everything you can in that small little carry-on bag in all travel sizes. It is tricky, but I do believe during traveling through this pandemic, the ability to go carry-on could outweigh the disadvantage of having to go through that hassle of not bringing all the things you're used to using, but having everything in a small travel size baggie that is required by security rules to get through security checkpoints at airports. This will take your own personal preference. Some people, it's just not worth it, and they're willing to take the risk of the bag, potentially changing your flight path or a delay. But if you have the ability to do this, I promise, definitely makes a big impact when things go wrong. When things go right, it all works out fine. This is really try to alleviate your stress when things go wrong. So those are my tips traveling during a pandemic. I'm sure I have many more, and I may reshoot this when I'm not sweating underneath the sun. Maybe the sound's a bit better, but I've had a lot of questions, people asking for this. So I felt now was the best time to do it. Just got off the flight. You can see, again, the plane's flying over me. Sorry for the distraction. Sorry for the sunglasses again, but I hope this helped. And again, if you like this, let us know, because I'll reshoot this with a bit more thought and get you some more tools and tips when it comes to traveling during a pandemic to make your life easier. Thank you again, friends. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is the one thing for the big. Oh! What? No. F-35 flew over my head. He must have knew I was shooting the video for Luxus Real Estate Advisory, and he did a flyover. One more. Here comes one more. Comes one more. Check it. Look at that.